Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Between work and redoing my living room and traveling to Michigan recently to go to my niece's wedding, things have been super busy. So I haven't had the opportunity to make any really long antiquing trips. However, over the past few months, I have done some onesie twosie trips where I picked up maybe just a couple of items at antique shops and some thrift shops locally. So I thought I would share some of those finds with you here today. So the first items I wanted to share with you, I purchased back in September in a store called Home, and it's located in, I always say this wrong, Genoa, Genoa, Nevada. Here we pronounce it Genoa, not Genoa as in Italy. But I purchased a couple of items there. It's a vintage item and vintage inspired item shop. I've been there a couple of times. The first item I purchased is this vintage canned cranberry sauce server set. I'm so excited by this. Based on my research, it was manufactured in the 1970s by the William Rogers Company, and it is silver plate. And this is definitely going to be something that I plan on using during the holidays. The other item that I purchased at Home in Genoa was this, and I was really excited to find it. The Woman's Day Book of American Needlework. It was published in 1961, and it was authored by none other than Rose Wilder Lane. Rose Wilder Lane, of course, the daughter of Laura Ingalls Wilder of the Little House books fame. Rose was a very famous writer in her day. She wrote a number of novels. She was a reporter. She wrote a number of biographies. In fact, she was a very famous writer in America, and it wasn't until she gave her mother the encouragement to publish her own stories that her mother's fame eclipsed hers. So this was written by Rose Wilder Lane in 1961 for Woman's Day. In fact, Woman's Day sent Rose to Vietnam. And Rose at the time was, oh my gosh, how old was she? Being a Laura Ingalls Wilder fan, being a Rose Wilder Lane fan, I have read some of her writings over the years, and also being someone who enjoys doing needlework. I was very excited to find this, and I look forward to taking the time to look through it. Also in September, I went to an event called the Block Party, which is an annual event put on by the antique store in Fallon called Just Country Friends. It's every September, the weekend after Labor Day. And the first item that I purchased was this antique folding butler's table. And based on my research, it was manufactured by the Nationwide Specialties Company in Chicago in the early 1900s. So that definitely makes it an antique piece. It's in extremely fragile condition, and so I'm being very careful with it. I have it in a corner of my living room. It's up against the wall because it's a little wobbly, and I'm using it as a place for my internet router of all things. I did find a similar piece on Etsy. That was by the same manufacturer, and it was a similar design. That sold on Etsy for $100, and I got my table for $40. Also at the Just Country Friends Block Party, I bought this. I couldn't resist. Obviously, it's not old, but it's adorable. It's this little light-up snowman. It does work, and I can't wait to put it out when I decorate for Christmas in just a few weeks. Moving on to October, also at Just Country Friends, I purchased this really sweet clear glass pumpkin with a lid. I don't think it's old, but I just loved the look. And I have a couple of other clear glass pumpkins that I purchased last year, brand new, and I'm using all of them in this little vignette on my dining room table for the fall. Also in October, I purchased this beautiful china cabinet from Just Country Friends in Fallon, Drexel Heritage New Hampton Court cabinet, which was manufactured in the late 1940s. Here's a picture of it as I saw it in the shop. Looked a little beat up, and it was holding all sorts of other merchandise from that particular vendor. And here it is in my dining room. I didn't have to do too much to it. It was actually in relatively decent condition. I used Old English scratch-covered oil for dark wood, and that covered up a lot of the small scratches that were in the wood. There is a little bit of marring on the front, but it's an old piece, and so you're going to have some damage. There's also a little bit of damage inside the cabinet on the bottom, but when the doors are closed, you can't see it. And then a little bit of damage to the veneer on the base, on the sides. Again, you can't see it, and it's an old piece. It's going to have some wear and tear, and that's part of the charm of the piece. So I'm very happy to have a place to put my good china and some of my other treasures in my dining room. Later on in October, I purchased a couple of things from Gray Barn Antiques in Andover, New Jersey, one of my favorite stores that I wish I could visit on a regular basis, but New Jersey, of course, is much too far away for me to get to often. But they do have their live sale events. They have one every Wednesday evening, and that's where Jeanette picks a number of items from different vendors in the shop, things that she thinks that her customers will appreciate, and usually they're items that are easily shipped. And then these particular items that I purchased were from one of their less, quote, regular sales. I believe they do them once a month, where Jeanette actually tours the shop with her camera, and her husband Don mans the computer and pays attention to the commenting online. And she does, feature certain items as she goes through each booth. But if there's an item that you see that you are interested in, you put a comment in, and Jeanette will give you information about the item, the price, and any other information that she can provide right there on the spot. And then if you're interested, you can say sold, and then she and Don will pack it and ship it to you. So I did buy a couple of items at that Sunday afternoon sale. The first is this vintage, hello Misty, this vintage silent butler. Silent butlers, of course, being what people can use to scrape the crumbs off the tablecloth during dinner. That's the maker's mark there. And based on my research, this was made by the Knickerbocker Silver Company, which is located in Port Jervis, New York, and it's got a different name now. I don't know when this was made. I'm not sure of the year. I was unable to verify exactly when that maker's mark was in use. But super excited about this. Definitely will be using that when I have dinner. I should say when I have a fancy dinner, Thanksgiving, Christmas, that sort of thing. And then the other item that I purchased at that Facebook Live sale was this gorgeous Victorian painted tray. Obviously, this is just a decorative item, and I just love it. I saw it when I was actually in Andover. Yes, Misty, hello. I saw it when I was in Andover back in September, but I didn't purchase it at the time because I was purchasing a lot of other items, and I just didn't think I had room for it in my suitcase. So it was still there when she was going through all the booths, and so I snagged it. And I currently have this displayed in my built-in shelving, my built-in arched shelving. More recently in October, I went to the Blue Sky Thrift store in Fallon, Nevada. I found these two outdoor lights. I do want to replace the outdoor light that I have by my front door. One of them, the amber glass you can see, is broken. I really only needed one, but I just felt like I couldn't leave one of them there. So I bought them both. They were only $2 each. I'm pretty sure they should work. They do need to be cleaned up a little bit. As you can see, they are rusted. I don't really know much about them. They were manufactured by the Del Val Manufacturing Company in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. I'm guessing that they were probably made in the 1960s or 70s. I don't think they're really old, but they are vintage. I do have plans to have an electrician come in soon to install a couple of other light fixtures that I purchased, and I will have him take a look at those and let me know if one of them could be used for my front door. So stay tuned, more to come on that. And finally, the last items I wanted to let you know about was earlier in October, there was a Backroads Vintage Market in Fallon, Nevada. It is I believe it's a biannual event. I went to the October event and I found these Longaberger Collectors Club baskets. There were 3 sizes, the large one, the medium one, and the small one. One is from, I believe, the year 2000, the other 2001, and the other 2002. So not quite vintage, but almost there. I am using the larger one at this time for some items on my bedside table. The others are just being used decoratively at the moment, but I'm sure I'll find something that I can put inside them. So those are my latest vintage and antique purchases over the last few months. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any information on some of the items that I wasn't too sure on with regard to their age, for example, the Silent Butler, again, made by the Knickerbocker Silver Company in Port Jervis, New York, or these outdoor lights. If you have any information on those that you're able to share with me, I would love to hear about it. So please feel free to leave that info in the comments. Thanks as always for tuning in. If you enjoy my content, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next video.